Another major incident that they committed is in the name of King Ram, Lord Ram, they demolished what you call the Babri Masjid in India in December 1992. Now, for your information, what is the controversy of Babri Masjid, which is now going to be replaced by Ram Temple, according to the Supreme Court decision of India? Now, I'm not here to give an opinion. What we are trying to discuss here is the incidents that have happened, what has been brought to light. So the information as an education from an academic perspective for all of us. So I would like to bring to you some of the information that is out here. We have already discussed that King Ram was not God according to Veda. His name is not mentioned there. He was not God according to any of the other scriptures of Hinduism. Later on, when the epic by the name Ramayana was written by Valmiki. So the most popular Ramayana, the story of King Ram, is written by Valmiki. So it's called as Valmiki Ramayana, written by Valmiki. Now, when did he write? The exact time duration, the age, the time period is unknown. But when he wrote, even in Ramayana, there is no mention. Valmiki does not refer to King Ram as God. That is not a mention. The second important point about Valmiki Ramayana is that it does not have the mention of Ram as God, nor does it have a mention of the birthplace of King Ram. Because the Babri Masjid, which is in the city of Ayodhya in India, in the northern part of India, this city is being claimed by RSS and various other Hindutva ideologues that this was the place of birth of King Ram, whom they call or they worship as God. Now, interestingly, Valmiki Ramayana, while it was written, it does not mention about Ayodhya being the birthplace of Ram. It does not mention King Ram to be Lord or God. It does not have. However, later on, when Tulsidas, a famous poet, a writer in India, who lived during the time of Babur, the King Babur, who came to India through his ancestors, who came to India, and it is claimed, it is accused that he demolished the Ram temple there, where the King Ram was born, and he built the Babri Masjid. This is the controversy that has been in place in India. Now, interestingly, Tulsidas does not make any mention, while he lived exactly during that time frame from 15th century to 16th, from 1511 to 1600, he lived and he wrote the description or the detail or the explanation of Valmiki Ramayana. He did not mention the birth of Ram. He did not mention Ayodhya being a place of birth of Ram. He did not mention that there was a temple which was demolished by Babur and a masjid was built there. There has been no mention of this throughout the writings of Tulsidas. However, Tulsidas is the person in his writings, he raised the rank of King Ram to be the God, to be a Lord according to the Hindu belief. And from there onwards, Hindus started to worship King Ram and started to build temples in his name. Now, interestingly, just a quick timeline, Muslims started to come in India from the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have here one of the first mosques built in India by the name Charman Juma Masjid in the city of Kerala, whose graves are yet to be, are still available or can be seen in the city of Kerala. And the king of Kerala, who was a Hindu, he became Muslim and he traveled through the sea to go and meet the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but he died during his journey. This is one of the writings or the claims that are made in India in the city of Kerala. Furthermore, there is no mention, as I said, of any of the writers at the time of Babur who ever mentioned any of the mentionings of a Ram temple being demolished by the King Babur. Furthermore, these are two Chinese travelers, very famous travelers by the name Fa Hen and Hyun Sang. They traveled to a place very close to Ayodhya, almost 60 kilometers from Ayodhya, and they lived there for a fair period of time. And they were again in between the time frame of 15th to 16th century when Babur was the ruler. They do not mention of any temple being built there, which was existent there, which was demolished to be rebuilt by Babur as a mosque. So none of the writings by Indians, by Hindus, or even by any foreign travelers makes a claim that there was any Ram temple. Furthermore, according to one of the articles written in Indian newspaper, which mentions that the first time this conflict arose between Muslims and Hindus of Babri Masjid controversy was in 1850. Until 1850, there was no mention of any conflict between Muslims and Hindus in the city of Ayodhya on the subject of Babri Masjid at all. Furthermore, in the book written by Ram Puniyani, he writes on the subject of Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute in page number 129, he quotes and he writes, the first time the conflict was brought into existence was by the British Chronicles, by the person who translated that or who brought it into light was Mrs. Beveridge. She writes, she suggested in the footnote that possibly King Babur, who was a Muslim, he must have been very astonished to see the beauty of the temple of Ram. He may have confiscated or demolished a portion of the Ram temple in order to build the Babri mosque. This is the first mention of an evidence-based research of any writing of the controversy between Muslims and Hindus on the subject of Babri Masjid on the title of Ram, the King Ram, or Lord Ram according to Hindus, being born in the city of Ayodhya. For your information, for further information, Ayodhya was not mentioned to be a place of conflict until 1850, until the Britishers first brought it into the limelight to create possible disunity between the Muslims and Hindus of that time.